ARMY is deeply saddened. JIMIN Cries in Jungkook's arms. Jungkook and Jimin have officially left their military unit. But it's not their return that stole the spotlight. It was their emotional farewell that left the world in silence. In their final embrace at the military barracks, Jimin couldn't hold back his tears, while Jungkook, his voice trembling, could only utter two words: goodbye. What really happened behind the scenes of this heartbreaking farewell? That cold Thursday morning at South Korea's 5th Division base had never felt this special. There were no trainers' shouts, no thunderous steps of recruits. Only soft whispers, parting words, and restrained sobs could be heard. That day, Jungkook and Jimin officially completed their military training. But what left the deepest scar wasn't the grueling training itself, but the bond they had built during it. A friendship that would never be the same again after today. ARMY, BTS's global fan community, had waited patiently for the return of these two idols. But few realized how hard it was for them to walk out of military life. In the barracks, under the pressure of training and strict discipline, a strong brotherhood had grown among the soldiers, and there, Jungkook and Jimin found someone incredibly hard to leave behind. A young officer who had become their friend, trainer, and brother, Captain Lee. "It's like cutting a rope that has been holding us up all this time," Jungkook shared in a private conversation hours before their departure. His voice was heavy, not from physical exhaustion, but from lingering emotion. Jimin, known for his cheerful personality, said nothing. His eyes were swollen. It wasn't like him. They came as global superstars, but trained like any other recruit. Yet they quickly adapted. They led, they inspired. Jungkook even became a driving force in nighttime combat drills. Jimin, just as brave, served as the team's moral support. And at every tough moment, Captain Lee stood by them. That friendship wasn't just a formality. It was a new family born in the harshness of military life. Sadly, that day had to come. The day when all memories had to be neatly packed, placed in a backpack, and left behind forever. In front of their fellow soldiers, Jimin couldn't hold back tears as he received a Special Forces badge from Captain Lee, a symbol of recognition for their integrity and hard work. "You're not just exceptional soldiers," said Captain Lee. "You're brothers." That final hug became one of the most heartbreaking moments in the history of K-pop idols' military service. Jimin cried in Jungkook's arms. No words could describe the sorrow that filled the barracks at that moment. Even the usually stoic soldiers couldn't hold back their emotions. This farewell was more than just the end of service. It marked the end of a profound chapter in their lives. Outside the gates, the world seemed to stop. Fans from all over the world crowded around the base, even from hundreds of meters away, just to catch a glimpse of their two idols. Hashtags like #JKJMHomecoming, #ThankYou Jungkook Jimin, and #FarewellBrothers topped global trending lists. But many ARMY members also voiced their sadness, because they knew a part of Jungkook and Jimin would always remain in that barracks. HYB, BTS's agency, declined to make an official statement that day. However, speculation arose that HYB CEO Park Ji-won personally visited the base a few days earlier. Some industry sources suggested that the visit wasn't only to pick up the two BTS members, but also to discuss a major project that would mark a new phase for BTS. "Not just a regular comeback," said one source. "This will change the course of the global entertainment industry." But behind that major news lies an undeniable truth: the personal transformation Jungkook and Jimin underwent. A fellow soldier, who wished to remain anonymous, said, "Jungkook is now more mature, more calm. Jimin is more confident, with a different leadership aura." They return not just as artists, but as individuals who've been shaped by life's real challenges. ARMY now eagerly awaits the next steps of their two idols. Rumors suggest Jungkook is preparing a solo album with a darker and more reflective concept, while Jimin will collaborate with renowned international producers on a cross-border project. Both are believed to be undergoing a psychological and emotional transition before fully stepping back into the spotlight. Yet one question continues to echo: will they return as a complete BTS? With Jin and other members also having completed their military service, the hope for a full BTS reunion is becoming more realistic. But as Jimin said on his last night as a soldier, we may never be the same again. But maybe that's what makes us stronger. That day, it wasn't just uniforms they took off. It was a part of their lives they would never forget. In the silent, quiet morning, with slow steps and tear-filled eyes, Jungkook and Jimin left the base gates. Not to cheers, but to the sincere whispers from millions of fans. Thank you for enduring. We will always wait for you. And they know this is not the end. It is the beginning of something far greater. The emotional moment when Jungkook said goodbye and Jimin cried in his arms on their last day of military service shook the hearts of millions of fans worldwide. The tearful atmosphere, the badge awarded by Captain Lee, and global media attention all created a seemingly perfect dramatic narrative. Yet, amid this overwhelming and sometimes misleading flow of information, we must pause and ask, did all this really happen as reported? Or are we witnessing a meticulously constructed emotional media narrative? Undeniably, this story has immense appeal. The imagery is powerful: a global idol in military uniform, crying, embraced, awarded, and waved off by fellow soldiers. But shouldn't we ask deeper questions? What solid evidence shows that this moment happened exactly as told? Was this event officially documented, or is it merely a narrative filled with emotions circulating on TikTok, Twitter, or YouTube? The sources of this article vary widely, from short clips on social media, tweets with photos lacking metadata, to anonymous testimonies spread by fan accounts. And this is where healthy skepticism matters. Because in today's digital world, not everything viral is true, and not everything touching is factual. We must also consider the context of South Korea's entertainment industry, which is highly structured and strategic. Could this farewell narrative be part of a PR maneuver designed to create deep emotional impact ahead of BTS's comeback? We know this industry doesn't just sell music. It sells stories, experiences, and emotional connections. So, is Jimin's weeping and Jungkook's inner pain a reflection of sincere feelings, or a cinematic narrative meant to maintain closeness with ARMY? Of course, this doesn't mean we entirely dismiss the authenticity of the story. Under the pressure of military life, strong bonds can indeed form, and parting can be genuinely emotional. But as informed and intelligent audiences, we must discern between reality and engineered narrative. Another important question is, why are there only fragments of information circulating on social media without direct coverage from official military media? Why is there no official documentation showing the badge awarded by Captain Lee or a formal statement from the 5th Division? Was this narrative built solely by fan accounts and social media influencers without strong factual support, considering the flood of massively circulated content, with titles like Jungkook cried saying goodbye or Jimin couldn't hold back tears in the final hug? We must ask, is this information or a global-scale emotional fiction? Often, such stories are built without verifiable data. We are invited to believe through emotion, not evidence. Furthermore, look at how the narrative is packaged. Why is it so structured? Why does it feel like it was scripted as a drama? From emotional tension to elements of surprise, to the climax of the final hug and the badge ceremony, all follow the classic storytelling formula of the entertainment industry. Shouldn't this make us more suspicious that the story is crafted for maximum effect? We are not saying the story is false, but we emphasize that the truth of this information has not been fully verified. The sources come from social media, not investigative journalism with documentation and confirmation. If we consume such information without filtering, we open ourselves to collective emotional manipulation. Therefore, we invite you, readers, fans, and observers, to apply a reflective and analytical approach to such events. Ask yourself, Have I checked the original source of this news? Who spread it first, and what was their motive? Is there concrete evidence or just anonymous testimony? Do I believe this because I want to, or because the facts are strong? In this post-information era, where emotion spreads faster than facts, critical awareness is our last defense against disinformation and sensationalism. We owe it to ourselves and our community to safeguard the integrity of information. SO before you share the touching story of Jimin crying and Jungkook saying goodbye. Ask yourself, am I sharing the truth or just joining an emotional wave that hasn't been proven valid? Am I contributing to understanding or deepening the fog of confusion? Thank you for reading and thinking with us. Now we return the question to you. Do you believe this is a true story? Or merely a clever narrative construction to sustain the existence of a global phenomenon called BTS? Please leave your thoughts. We await your critical reflection.